Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am hoping that you'll come along with me on this journey as I get a grip on my personal finance and I guess learn the ropes of changing my money habits to ensure a more secure financial future for myself. A little bit about me. I'm a 27-year-old. I'm a working professional. I work full time in the NGO or non-government organisation sector. I really kind of have been sitting down recently and reassessing my priorities. I've never really taken the time to have a good hard think about my finances, where it's going, what my goals actually are, and where I want to be. So I guess the prompt for starting this channel was I have been going down a rabbit hole on YouTube looking at other YNAB videos. I tried YNAB for the first time probably 18 months ago. I was in a very different place and I didn't really commit to being strict with my YNAB and being honest about where my finances were going. Which I believe ultimately was a downfall. And like most things, it kind of fell by the wayside and it got too hard to catch up. More recently, I guess I've been looking back into it because I was looking for a tool that could meet my needs. And now something about me is that I'm a really visual person. And so the idea of numbers and graphs and things like that was really overwhelming, but I really like the features that YNAB has to offer. So I started doing my research, I downloaded the app, I'm in the free trial, and I set myself a job. And that job was to really understand the function of the program and to really get into it properly and commit to doing it. So basically, I started this channel to hold myself accountable, to put my goals, my wishes, my, I guess, failures and my reflections where other people could see it so that there was something external to myself to be accountable to. Now, ultimately, I know that this sits with me and I'm responsible for it. But I do find that when other people know what's going on, I'm more likely to stick with it. So I started working full time in 2017 in the NGO sector as well, in disability. And reflecting on it now, my starting salary was pretty good. Now that I talk about finance with my friends and with my family, it was nothing to laugh at, and it was, I guess, a significant amount at the end of the day. I worked at that job over 3 years, halfway through which I got a salary increase in that time. And I guess looking back on it now, it seems so silly because I have only just, I guess, come to this point of being strict with my money and really having a goal for it rather than just being kind of fancy free. And although I had obligations, my rent, my car, my phone, all of those types of utilities and responsibilities fell on me on my own. Again, I just got by. In 2020, or at the start of 2020, I actually decided to move jobs, which also meant relocating to a different state for work. I was living on my own prior to this, and I was moving to a town in a state where I didn't know anyone. And so the idea of finding a housemate and living with people after living alone for so long, but also in a strange town, really overwhelmed me. We did the maths, and with the increase in pay that would come with this new job, I would be able to afford living alone. So I started in, I guess, a crisis after hours role with some business hours consulting work. And within the last 3 years that I've been with this organisation, I've moved through different leadership roles. So team lead of 2 different programs, as well as some other stints here and there. In leadership roles, which has been really amazing and also has come with it with some financial benefits as well. For context, I'm currently on a 3-month secondment into a portfolio manager position. So that is a relatively, I guess, high level management position where I'm responsible for different programs that are funded by different bodies. And I guess it's been a really great opportunity to step up. It's been a really fulfilling and also a really big learning curve for me. And I guess with that as well has come another significant increase for the whole period of 3 months. And I recently was just doing the maths and I thought to myself, well, I wonder how much extra I'm actually taking away. And it's actually $300 per paycheck, minimum. Now, I found myself in the same spot again, which I've been working to get over the disappointment of that in terms of just still living paycheck to paycheck. And that is really what prompted me to take a really hard look at what I was doing and the money I was on, the fact that I was being lodged and paid for these 3 months where I don't have any expenses and I'm still in that space. It was a really swift kind of slap in the face. And so that brings us to now. I appreciate if you have been able to kind of sit through the rambles, but I really thought I would just introduce myself for some context. For me, this is a really kind of vulnerable step to put this kind of stuff out there because for a long time I've kind of sat back and said, no, I'm fine, not a problem, and never really given anyone any insight. And it's been, I guess, a bit of a private shame for me. I'm okay. I'm totally fine because I feel like I've turned this corner and I have a plan of action, which is really what I needed. Overall, my goal for using NAB and tracking it in the way that I am is first up to get 1 month ahead in terms of my core expenses. So things like my utilities, my insurances, my day-to-day living costs, so the bare essentials, groceries, fuel, as well as my debt. I do want to focus on paying that down, but I do recognise that actively putting money aside that I can allow myself to enjoy life with is also important. The next is to start building sinking funds, or I guess true expenses, if we talk in YNAB language, towards things like my hospital excess, my car insurance excess, setting up a bit of a out-of-pocket healthcare fund for things like that aren't covered through my private health insurance or through Medicare, I guess, things that are elective. Also building up, I guess, a car emergency fund. So my car is 10 years old this year. It's a 2012 model. And so I do foresee that possibly brakes, axles, bigger parts are probably coming up to the point where they need some tuning. I'm also into the process of, or I'm into that stage where I'm probably looking at a new set of tyres soon. So I guess building that up so that that doesn't derail my goals as well as my day-to-day living as it has in the past. The next thing is to get into the habit of putting small amounts aside to build up my finances. So the idea of contributing small amounts over time at a set rate in order to, I guess, open up the wallet one day and see that I've got a significant amount sitting somewhere that I can spend on that item and not feel guilty and not feel that I'm taking money away from other areas of my life. It's a concept that, I'm well aware of, but I guess it's not something that I've actively practiced before. So ultimately, thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking around if you've made it this far. I've got no idea how long this video is. I do appreciate it, and I'm sure they will get better over time. I know I did no budgeting in this video, so I'm sorry if that was misleading, but I guess I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that the next video that I do post will be, I guess, a more detailed look at my budget as it's currently set up. So looking at all of my categories, what I plan to do over time, and I guess explain what they are. Come along. I'm trying to get a grip, and I just want to be accountable. So if you have any questions, let me know. But otherwise, I will leave you here. You have an awesome, awesome day.